So last week we saw a massive IT outage. This outage, because of CrowdStrike, this took down banks, this took down hospitals, airlines, businesses. It even took down the 911 call centers. This just wiped the United States. It was impacting many businesses in other countries. This was hurting millions and millions of people. There were people reporting that they couldn't buy groceries. They couldn't take money out of their bank. Their elective surgeries, they had to be postponed or canceled. This seriously took a toll on millions of people. But we are now hearing reports that the United States government wants more oversight. They want to ensure that something like this doesn't happen again, because what we know is that this potentially wiped out about $1 billion from the U.S. economy. Okay, $1 billion. Again, this was a simple mistake in an update to a system. This wasn't a cyber attack, but I want to address why this is such a big deal, what experts are saying, and why we should be concerned about what the United States could potentially do in the near future. So I'll break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates, and now let's begin. So what exactly are the reports saying right now? Well, we still have many companies that are trying to get back on their feet. One of the reasons why is because this simple outage, this caused many companies to have to shut down operations. But the reason why this is delayed is because every single computer that was running this update, these computers had to be restarted manually. That takes time. But look at this. It says hackers are already taking advantage of the CrowdStrike outage chaos. We started learning this yesterday, and I saw a couple websites that were trying to get you to put in a little bit of information so that you can be protected. These scammers were trying to protect you. Okay, they create this website that if something like this were to happen, or you want to make sure that this doesn't happen to you ever again, right? Put in your information. They're going to put in a software so that it will prevent it from doing a quick little update. Guess what? They'll steal your information. Okay, they're going to hack into your system. They will steal from you. Now, don't fall for that. But here's the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention right now, because of this story. This is from MSNBC. It's an opinion piece, but this is something that I want to take to the next level. Okay, it says why the mayhem caused by CrowdStrike failure could happen again. It says, how did a small mistake in a company most of us have never heard of create the mess we saw across the world Friday? Now, you may not have heard of CrowdStrike, but I believe CrowdStrike was the company that they used in the previous election, or the election between, I think, former President Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, I believe. That was a company that they used to dig into the voting, to make sure that there was nothing bad going on. So you may not have heard of this company, but they've been around for some time. Now, here's the reason why this is so important. One of the big things that happened on Friday is that businesses couldn't, just run. They couldn't operate. Retail stores, in many cases, they wouldn't accept a card. They wouldn't accept a debit card because their system was down, because of the computers and the software that they're using. They also, in some cases, wouldn't accept cash. And here's the other thing. Banks, you couldn't go to the bank and get cash because the banks were using the same software. So guess what the United States government wants to do? They want to use something called CBDC. This is called the Central Bank Digital Currency. Now, this is very similar to like the US dollar. It's a digital form of the country's fiat currency. Okay? So because of that, okay, it's a digital form. You could have access to it maybe from your phone. Okay? But here's why experts are concerned. Everything that we've been hearing. Okay, you can't buy food. You can't buy medicine. You can't pay for gas. You can't pay for a rental car. a hotel, a flight. All these things you can't pay for because you can't use that plastic. You can't use the card. But could the United States use this event as a way to push CBDC forward? Could this be a way that the central bank decides, you know what, we need our own currency, something that we can control, not something that a third party is going to, have security over, that they are going to manage. The United States government will have full control, and so we will prevent any mistake like this from ever happening again. Okay? The reason why this is such a big deal is because we've seen this before. A major event happens, a potential disaster happens, and the US decides to step in, intervene, and put in their own ideas. CBDC is not one of their new ideas. It's been around for some time, but they're looking for ways to implement it into our economy. Figure out a way to move away from what we are currently doing and go towards something that they can manage themselves. Now, this is going to give them a lot of insight as to how you spend. This will also give them an idea of where you are spending and should they limit your spending in certain areas. They're going to have all this information. But the reason why this is such a big deal now is because many experts are highly concerned that this little IT outage, and again, it was little, but it was also massive and it was worldwide. If this were to happen on a grander scale, things would be devastating. And so how do we limit this? Well, we don't all go towards the same, checkout and same, point of sale systems. We go towards something else, right? We change it up. We diversify. That's what they're discussing. This is something that they've talked about before. Now, how is this going to impact you in the near future? Well, here's what I can tell you. I've talked to many people they're business owners that were only accepting cards. They would not accept cash. However, on Friday, many of them decided, we will now accept cash. Here's the problem. They decided they'd accept cash. The issue was they didn't have any cash to give in return. So think about this for a second. You go into a coffee shop, let's say Starbucks, for example, and Starbucks says, you know what? We do not accept cash. Okay, so they don't accept cash, but when they open up on Friday morning, or let's say tomorrow, they can't accept a card because their system's down, the power's out, whatever it may be. So they say, okay, we will accept cash today only. Here's the problem. If you pay with a $50 bill and let's say your change should be $44.50, guess what? You don't have any change. The business has no change. They can't give you anything in return, right? Because they don't have it. This is where some are speculating, saying that CBDC is likely going to be the next option, the next solution moving forward. We've seen all the talks regarding cryptocurrencies, but again, that's not something that's highly regulated. What the government wants to do is get involved. And this event that happened just this past week might be their ticket into the door. So we're going to see what happens. The one thing I can tell you is just be prepared, because whatever they decide to roll out might not be the best solution. However, it will be a solution, and they will push for it and tell you this is the best thing possible. So we'll see what happens moving forward as we get more information on this, as we get more information as to why this outage really occurred and how much this impacted our economy. I will fill you in on all those updates as soon as we get them as well. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.